Bad OCs are what's coming up next, so let's move on to them. Going back in the same order we present good OCs, Smooth, tell us all about the OC you brought for bad.
Okay. This is Nakuru, and unfortunately, unlike my good OC, this one does not have a pronunciation. Her name directly correlates with her talent, meaning the greatest will come, is what Nakuru means.
In what language?
I have no clue, it doesn't say. She's a fortune teller, and she travels around with a small circus, because, there she can be a side performer kind of thing at the circus shows, and she can actually make a living of some kind. She is not that happy with it, because she would rather honestly be on her own in doing these kind of things in much different environments, or probably a stationary environment or something like that. Unfortunately, that's not really a lifestyle you can have as a fortune teller for the most part.
Life doesn't deal you that hand sometimes.
Yeah, some jobs just don't deal you that hand ever at all in the slightest. And that kind of sucks. And that's basically it about Nakuru. She's not really a bad OC, just not like a really good OC, I guess, sort of. Like, character-wise, I like her. There's nothing really wrong. I mean, she doesn't have much of a personality at all in the slightest, besides not liking being a side performer of a circus instead of just on her own, so you can assume that she likes being independent and not having to require all of these other circus stuff to go around. But that's really all you can get from this. She doesn't have personality of any kind, and you know what I've said about everyone being more than just what's happened to them or what they do, sort of things. Personality.
Yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from. I feel like she has like an interesting hook, but you hooked people into nothing.
Yeah, it was a hook, and then it was just like nothing else there. It's like throwing the hook into the water, but there's no line.
Haha, I got you now, fish.
You set up the perfect bait. You got like the best worm, and you hook him onto the hook, and you just throw it in the lake.
And they freaking get hooked on, and they just like aren't strong enough for the freaking hook for some reason or another, so they just like sink because for some reason they are not strong enough to pick up that tiny little fish hook. So they're just like sinking, and they're just like, why though?
Honestly, all you did was ruin a fish's life and a worm's life.
But for what reason?
None.
Look-wise, though, I'm not really against much of this character, except for sort of the gradients on the legs.
How dare you?
Hey! Get out of here! I'll fight you for it!
I actually don't like him either, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of them. That's because I'm not a big fan of them at all. And Soren here, who absolutely loves stuff like that, isn't a big fan of them.
It's just black to white, and I'm like, it's so fucking abrupt.
Jarring.
It's abrupt.
Yeah, it's black to white is always one of those examples of too big of a gradient. There's too many things between it. It's just like, this, and then, this.
It is like, punching me in the face.
Yeah. Can I just say real quick that there are, on this character, 4 different grays, not including the gradient? Because there's the light gray of her coat, the light gray white of her mane. They're different. Barely. The dark gray of her mane and the dark gray stripes on her coat. Those are also different. They're way too close to be different, and way too close together.
There's a lot of gray area going on here.
Yes.
I just don't know what to think about this one. There's too much gray area.
I think there should be more gray area, honestly, like more
it
grays.
fits the character.
Differentiating between them more, you know? I do like the eyes, though. It's a really good color.
Nice.
And I feel as though the tail is a completely different style than the only zebra we've actually technically seen, so...
Actually, doesn't Sakura have a tail like that?
Not especially.
Hers is actually just her coat color, so I completely just don't understand how that works. It's not even her main colors for her tails, it's just her coat colors.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Yeah, she's a weirdo.
It also doesn't look like it fits with the mane all that well. Overall, I like the character. The design seems like it might need a bit of work, though, and definitely fleshing out who the character actually is and how they feel and whatnot.
Well, thank you, Smooth, for bringing on that character. Now, of course, we're going to have to move on to the next OC on this section, the bad OCs. So let's take a look at Mitty's bad OC.
And this is Epic Star. Funny enough, Epic Star does originate from an idea they got while they were watching our show. Where they thought it would be cool to make a character that's just muscles, and I don't agree.
Just
No.
muscles.
Just muscles. What I just said. Don't make a character on one specific theme. Make a character for a character.
And they also wait for the backstory, yet they submitted it. I feel like if you're going to make a character and then submit it to a character review show, you should have a backstory for that character so we know what the character is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty cut and dry. I mean, if you're gonna just give us the aesthetics, I mean, we can't really do a whole lot with that.
Aesthetics is not a full character. What you look like is not you as a person.
Especially when it's on a species that we know next to nothing about, like zebras.
And since there is no character, I'm just going to jump into aesthetics for this guy. I love it. And I feel like I'm getting a lot of personality from this. Nothing I can back up with any actual evidence. But I feel like a cocky, kind of like arrogant, jacked zebra dude. He seems like, with that vest, I feel like a military thing from that. And his cornrows.
Honestly, I'm not a fan of the hair. Not because of that hairstyle, but I don't think that hairstyle actually works in how MLP works. Because, oddly enough, if you look close enough at it, at least for the most part, but I feel it's probably all of the characters, including Zecora, the hair actually grows in a mohawk style.
Yeah.
The hair is actually just a straight line from, like, the middle of the scalp back to the back of the head, sort of thing. That's really all that where the friggin' hair actually grows from. It doesn't actually reach out to, like, where human hair goes, or human hair starts from, and the shapes are completely different. This hair, I don't believe is possible.
I don't like the hair, honestly. I mean, I like the idea of a pony with cornrows, but that doesn't really work for me. But besides that, I can totally see this guy lifting, I can totally see him as a background character. Doesn't say anything, just lifting with bulk biceps. Or besides that, his very toned down color-wise, like his military green in both his jacket and his eyes, which is a nice repeating of colors. I like that. And then his grays. Besides that, I feel like with a little bit more of a character to this character, I feel like I could enjoy him a lot more. I feel like I can see him totally being like a jockey douche, or like maybe even not that. I can also see him being like the nice guy.
It's just because how much of a nerd Medi is, jock instantly means a bad person to him.
Fuck you guys.
Thank you, Mitty, for bringing on that character. Now let's move on to what Soren brought. Let's check out his bad OC.
So this is Zara. And, okay. Very shy, nervous type, extremely quiet. And, yeah. So much so that her friends had her tie balls to her ear. I think they meant bells because I'm like,
Yeah,
those are bells.
Yeah, I think they're bells
No.
at least.
Balls. Like fucking weighted earrings. Listen, you stop being shy or your ears fall off.
Rude.
But apparently, when she's around fire, she becomes outgoing, which I don't know. Maybe it's like you see that wild, just unadulterated destruction, and you just become more friendly. I don't know.
You see the fire, and you become the fire. You get raging, and you burn down all the air.
She loves fire. That's her thing, and she found her love of fire when it broke out. When a fire broke out in her parents' grain field, and she's been kicked out of every town probably for being a pyromaniac.
For being an arsonist?
Yeah,
Just
not enough. Like what?
Explain.
Yeah, give me.
Yeah, so far this is kind of what?
It's a C.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
It doesn't make sense to me, like, at all, I guess.
Quiet,
like,
shy, fire.
The only thing about you is that fire?
Pretty much.
I
don't understand. Maybe you could use it to have...
It seems even more one-dimensional than a lot of characters we've had, and that... I hate
That's
saying
right.
that. I hate saying that. But...
It's just like...
There's no personality to that. It's...
Currently unemployed. Maybe you take... Maybe, like... Because her friends are like... Well, we're trying to help you not do fire. But she's like, I can't help it, fire. And then maybe they find an outlet, like a job so she's not destructive,
She's a firefighter.
Just like, well, no, because she doesn't like water.
I don't think she would. Yeah, because she doesn't like water.
Aesthetics, not bad. Crazy, because fire, It's just,
Yeah.
it's not bad. It's just...
I feel like, yeah, I can understand the aesthetics alongside the character that's given, but the character that was given, well, I've already stated what I feel about
just
that.
not enough.
I do like the aesthetics, though.
Black tips to the ears. I like it.
And the main style, besides the very front black part that kind of juts out over everything, seems really cool. I mean, maybe it's not realistic like what I said for Medi's Bad OC just a few minutes ago, but it still looks cool.
Yeah. More.
More for personality, more for explanation.
I feel like that's a lot of where the bads come from. It's just more, Not necessarily bad. There's just not enough to really make a judgment about it in the first place. So just more.
Yeah.
Plus,
especially on the explaining the things that are already there aspect.
Yeah, because it's like just fire. There's nothing but fire. It's like, well, you could do something
That explains
interesting.
the character. There's nothing but fire.
Like maybe she destroys villages for a while, but then she finds an outlet, so she's accepted again. I mean, just something.
People hire her to do bonfires.
Moving on to the final OC this week, we're going to take a look at what I brought. And I brought on Xena by Cute Blue Kitty. Now, Xena is calm and considerate most of the time. She is easily angered and quick to judge. She is kind, yet serious and strict. Xena has trust issues, therefore it is not easy for her to forgive others' mistakes. She is, in short, antisocial. She prefers to be alone, and it is really hard for her to make friends. She likes animating cats, dogs, and drawing. She dislikes troublemakers, bullies, insects, and social gatherings. Her talents is that Xena is talented in hoof-to-hoof combat due to taking defensive classes, as well as fighting bullies on a day-to-day basis. She has
A bully fighter.
She has skilled her craft in animating and drawing. Xena is one of these characters that we get a lot of characters on this show that are like, they were bullied in school, so they didn't, become too sociable, and so they decided to stay at home and become an artist and wonder why no one likes them and blah, blah, blah. No, this is kind of the opposite of that. She was bullied, but guess what? She turned around and was like, yeah, what the fuck? Do you want some? Let's go. Come on. I'll fucking take you on, mate. Let's go. I'll wreck you.
And wondered why no one liked her.
Yeah, and which
Because she
led
beat
her to be
everybody up.
antisocial. Because she fucking anybody talks smack, she would beat him up. Okay, great. Well, the reason why she was being beaten up and bullied is because she is zebra in a non-zebra area. Now, Xena was born in a harsh, poor land far away from Equestria. Blah, blah, blah. Her parents moved away to give her a better chance. Moved her to Ponyville and trying to, quote, provide a better life for their filly. Everybody else started getting their cutie marks, and yet she wasn't. And I guess in this artist's mind that zebras get their cutie marks the same way.
Everyone's getting their cutie marks. Oh wait, it's not in my genetic pattern, so why do I care?
Yeah, literally, you should be like, I don't give a fuck. But then it's like, oh, apparently her parents went to counseling to help her get her cutie mark or something like that.
That should not.
And
be
I was
a
like,
thing.
After a year of no sign, after a year later and no sign of a cutie mark, she sends him off to counseling. And the counselors couldn't figure out what her talent was. So something apparently clicked in her mind and she had no talent. Something clicked in her mind and she had no talent. She was apparently average at like everything, realizing that, and a spider web sort of cutie mark thing appeared on her flank.
That's Jack.
Yeah, the fucking Jackson Marbles or whatever the fuck it's called.
Fucking no one knows what it is.
Fucking.
No one plays Jacks anymore.
Seriously. I don't even. I had some. I didn't know how to play it, but I knew what it was.
Are you kidding me?
It's like bounce the ball
All
and
you
you
do
try
is
to scoop
bounce
as
the
many.
ball and freaking grab as many of the Jacks off the ground before the ball comes back down. That's it.
I have huge hands. That would be an easy game.
Yeah, but are you fast enough to get all of them? Are you dexterous enough? It's a game of dexterity.
Oh.
Oh, well, I also had no friends as a kid, so.
You can play it alone.
Yeah, so she just decided to work hard on her grades and animating. She is currently improving her craft and getting better. When she is old enough, she plans on working for an animation studio. Okay. So being literally average at everything, but yet trying your hardest to go into animation, but yet that's not your special talent, and really nothing is. I'm okay.
This feels like a confused pony.
This feels like a confused writer.
It's not a pony, so, you know.
I'm just like,
Well, that's
maybe
what I
that
mean,
can
it's
work.
Like, this feels
Fuck,
like
I
a
don't
pony
know.
OC, not a zebra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
It looks exactly like Sakura.
Also, you know, being good at not being especially good at anything.
Yeah.
I have very big problem in just that.
This character is a little bit of a mess.
What your destiny is what your cutie mark is. You can't just, like, average out. If you average out, guess what? You don't have a cutie mark. That's what the freaking cutie mark crusaders are having such trouble with right now. Because they just aren't getting it.
Moving on to aesthetics. This character looks exactly like Sakura.
Yep.
Except that snout is just a little
I
different.
mean, the tail is.
Well, yeah, the tail is different, but everything else about this
I
character.
think I like this tail less than Sakura's.
That's saying something.
It doesn't match with her mane at all. I'm sorry. Really. But it just doesn't make sense.
It would be nice to, like, describe what the blue feather looking things are.
I mean,
It doesn't have to be, like, integral to her character. Like, they're the things her mother gave her before she died in the tragic accident. It's like, no,
I
just
mean,
fucking
yeah, it's
be like, hey, by the way, that thing?
it's there. You put it on your freaking character, and it's on your character in both scenes that she's actually in, and it has its own specific space on this character sheet thing. It's important enough to put on here 3 different times.
Yeah, it's not important enough to tell us what the fuck it is.
This character is... I don't know. The idea and concept of a character just being average at things and nothing comes of it feels like a major letdown. And the fact that there are things that then go... that say, hey, she is good at hand-to-hand. She is working on becoming better at animating. And yet, these things are then going against the thing that is causing the feeling of letdown is so confusing and is like going in the wrong direction, in my opinion. It's like, okay, if she was average at everything, that would work. If she was good at hand-to-hand combat, that would work as well. If she was good at animating, that would be good. So if those 3 different options were picked just for one, that'd be perfectly fine. But the fact that you put all 3 of them together in this character makes it feel like it's not that important. So, I would rework this, pick one of those things, and make it final then, and then I think it'd be an okay OC. Conceptual, or like design-wise, we don't know much about zebras. It's a zebra. It looks like a zebra. Congratulations.
Again, we state there's only one zebra in the show.
Moving on from the bad OCs into voting. So, moving back let me go back over the OCs that were brought on this week for good OCs. I brought on Catatonic by Crystal Jellyfish. Medi brought on ZZ by GMRS United, which I assume is gamers? I don't know. Smooth brought on Cry by Somber.
Somber Starlight.
And Somber Starlight. And Soren brought on Quinn by Ivy Leaf Tea.
Sure did.
So, going back in the same order we presented in and not voting for the same pony you brought onto the show, Smooth, who do you think the best pony this week was?
I'm going to give my vote to Quine.
Sweet. Medi?
I'm gonna give it to Quine as well.
Soren?
Cry.
And then I'm going to give mine to Quine as well.
Yay.
So, congratulations, Ivy Leaf Tea, for winning this week's episode. Good OC.
We win.
So, moving on to bad OCs, we have Xena by Cute Blue Kitty. Medi brought on Epic Star by Azulek Magic. And then Smooth brought on Nikuru by Ali Flendor. And Soren brought on Zara by Rosie May Carey NK66. So, like I said before, going back to the same order we presented it and not voting for the same pony you brought on, Smooth, worst pony this week.
I think I'm going to give it to Zara.
Medi?
I'm gonna give it to Zara as well.
Soren?
I'm gonna give it to Epic Star. Epic Star.
I have to give mine to Zara as well.
Hooray.
Because it was the only one else that I thought was mildly bad.
I'm a double winner.
Yay!
I
Congratulations,
have $1
Soren.
million now.
Those were all some wonderful OCs that were brought on the show, and maybe some that were also not as wonderful as others. But either way, despite the fact of what those OCs were, you're probably thinking, I want to get my OC on this show. So, Medi, why don't you tell the lovely people where they can send in their OCs to be reviewed?
You can send it to us at eurocsucks.deviantart.com, at eurocsucks at twitter.com, eurocsuckspodcast at gmail.com, and eurocsuckspodcast.tumblr.com.
This show is also supported by the lovely people over at patreon.com. You too can support the show by doing a small monetary donation every week to the show to help fund things at the show, like travel expenses as well as programs and stuff and things as well. So head on over to patreon.com/EuroCSucks to become a patron of the show. That is finally it. We are finally done with actual, legit species. Next week, we're going to be in our second to last episode for this block. We're going to be taking a look at hybrid ponies, where it's a hybrid of two separate things. Now, not a species that is a hybrid, like a griffin or a chimera or a draconiquus or any kind of creature that is a mashup of different things. But when you say, they are a zebra unicorn, or a dragon earth pony, or a griffin Pegasus. Fuck if I know what that would look like, but it's still a hybrid creature. So that being said, that has been the show. We love each and every one of you who are able to come out to the episodes every week. Do look out for me at EQLA, coming down by the panel. And we'll see you all next week. So, in the meantime, my name is Mummified Thunderbirds. I have been joined by...
Betty Bobo.
Smooth sailing.
And Soren wants by.
And remember, your OC sucks.